Well, the plot thickens because it turns out that the invitations slash challenge to have Candace Owens be live in person discussing all that she has said about TPUSA in this TPUSA special was Erika Kirk's idea. I'm going to play this clip and then let's talk about this.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erika. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erika.
He's talking about that they are going to make this show. I think it's in December 15, in which they're going to go one by one all the Candace Owens claims, and they're going to debunk whatever Candace Owens has said. And they were inviting Candace Owens to go there and be as in person to discuss all that with them. And it turns out that, well, here Blake just said that it was Erika Kirk's orders. I'm going to repeat just in case, because this is interesting.
Of course, Gina. So first of all, our initial statement, it was on the show on Wednesday. I made it at the request of Erika. All of this has been at the direction and approval of Erika because she heads this. And so what we were announcing there is we said she has said things that are not true, and we did not address them for a long time.
That's one of the things that I was asking myself precisely today. It's like this kind of serendipity or synchronicity. I was thinking, isn't Erika Kirk the CEO and chair of TPUSA right now? If there's all this rift between TPUSA and Candace Owens, why hasn't Erika Kirk addressed this directly? That is strange because, well, it's has been a bit odd until this, and I still don't know. I still don't understand. That is, if Blake Neff, I think this I forgot his last name. Blake is the producer of the Charlie Kirk show, which is not Charlie Kirk's show anymore, but you understand what I'm saying. Why is he the one? Why is he the messenger of this? Why wasn't Andrew Colbert, who, you're looking right here, that he is participating in the Charlie Kirk show through a Zoom call or remotely, which is important because that's one of the things that we were discussing yesterday before we addressed that I'm going to pose the question in this show. I want to play two clips. The first one is the question that was posed by a listener concerned about Candace Owens, and that sparked that clarification. It was Erika Kirk, the one with the idea expressly to be in person, for Candace Owens to be in person, not only to clarify all this, debunk all that Candace Owens has said, but invite, quote unquote, Candace Owens to be there, but most precisely in person. Let's hear the question so we can understand if Blake is actually answering the question. That is important because in the second part we're gonna try to check up if that happens.
My heart's broken with the things that are going on with Candace, and I'm trying to make it all come together. I'm sure I'm not your only fan that is trying to do that because of the relationship that she had with Charlie. And one thing that I'm just trying to make come together in my head is why the invitation was extended to Candace, but not to Candace directly. Like, I think you tweeted something out, and I don't know if, I don't know what's truth and what's not, but I do know that she said she didn't even see the invitation, and it was issued, like, I think at 12 on a tweet that you had, or at midnight, 12, not noon, midnight. And so it was like 9 hours later before she even knew that you said anything about her attending the show. And then she's saying she can't attend in person. Can she attend on a live stream? Or, and you guys do live streams all the time. And is that going to be an option?
Yeah, that's important. It's very important. The final part of the question, you are doing live streams all the time. She can attend live on a streaming from her studio. I said that. I made a video. I'm going to make some comments about the video I made yesterday. We need to talk about Candace Owens, by the way. But that part, the live thing, for me is very important because, in my opinion, we are in an era in which we can interact instantly with anybody and debate instantly with anybody through this medium. Like online, through a Zoom call or something, or the call that we are used to. This is the rest of Blake's. I always forget this guy's last name. The Blake. I'm gonna look for it. I'm gonna look for that. But this is the rest of his answer.
Why that We thought a lot of them were just not, how to put it?
Stuttering a lot.
We initially just thought no one would believe a lot of what was being said. And we also just, we remembered the same friendship that Charlie had, and we just hoped that this would go away without requiring any sort of direct statement or confrontation from us. So what was approved is we announced we are going to respond to this. And what I said was we are going to announce a date soon. We actually hadn't agreed on it at the time I read the statement. We're going to announce a date where we're going to respond to this. And once we announce it, Candace is free to attend in person.
So they didn't even know the actual date when they announced what they were going to do. Right?
That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a time, I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place. That is what we did. As for why it was put out at that time, I would just say I don't think she had any difficulty in finding out what our scheduled time was. It seems everyone found it out quite quickly.
Yeah, but again, my point is, if you are interested in debunking someone's claims and you want to make it as spectacular as possible, if you could have the opportunity to have that person in person, or at least live, at the very least live, then you would have, I don't know, the modicum of try to arrange a date that works for everybody. Again, I'm going to clarify a couple things by the end of this video about my stance on all this, but I just want to clarify that I have no horse in this race. I'm just trying to call the shots as I see them, because I also see people mentioning this that Candace Owens said.
That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a date soon, we actually hadn't agreed on it at the time I read the statement. We're going to announce a date where we're going to respond to this. And once we announce it, Candace is free to attend in person. That is what we announced. And so once we agreed on a time, I announced what the time was going to be. Candace, for her part, had said, you name the time, you name the place.
Candace Owens actually said that. Anytime, any place, I don't know the exact words, but those were, she said something along those words. But I think but so many people online are taking those words at face value when they were, I mean, English is my second language, but I know what figures of speech are. And when you say anytime, any place, is like I said, for example, I said that I want to do a collab with Scott Rouse. I could tell Scott anytime, any place, but it is implied. It's a figure of speech. Okay, let's arrange a date that works for both of us. It's not like anytime or any place. Is that you're gonna put time and date arbitrarily on your own. You're not going to notify me directly, and you are just going to post it on X, and I'm going to find out about the date and time through X and not directly. That would be a bit odd. That would be kind of a you don't seem too interested in me doing the thing. Again, I want to jump to the thing that I wanted to comment on this, because we will not be able to move along to the second part. I'm going to show the second part, which is important, which is when he says this.
Quickly. And lastly, on the point of why it's in person.
Why it's in person? Why can't it be online? Why can't Candace just be from her studio?
I think it's pretty intuitive.
Pretty intuitive. I don't know that answer. I don't like that answer already.
Person. I think it's pretty intuitive that given what is being said, the way this has worked is that it's critical to be in person if you want to be authentic and to be detailed.
Well, you can be authentic and be detailed remotely. As I made that comment yesterday, I was in a podcast with Adam Krigler, and I think I was authentic and detailed about everything that I said, and I was remotely, and there was no problem doing that.
And that is what we think is a fair request to make if she's going to participate. But regardless, it is going to go forward because we have agreed that some response needs to be made. And so that's going to happen when we announced it.
So I think that the answer about why it has to be in person makes no sense. That is, it doesn't make sense. You could have answered anything else. And again, it's Andrew Colbert himself was online, like, remotely doing the show. It's something that everybody does all the time. But the most important thing is that now we know that all this was ordered expressly by Erika Kirk. So she was directly involved in this, although she hasn't mentioned Candace Owens, not even once, as far as I'm concerned, because, well, that clip would be everywhere, and that clip is not out there. So Erika Kirk hasn't mentioned Candace Owens directly. What I want to make of this, what I'm making this video, which is the important part, is that I see so much discussion out there, people that are obviously profiting of this. I said, at what point did we begin discussing the commentators of politics instead of the politics itself? I don't know. But people have reached out to me and about what is my opinion on this. Again, I don't have a horse on this race. And it so happens, I want to talk about the video that I made yesterday, so we can have a better light of why are you here, why are you watching my videos, and what do I do on my channel. And there was one sentence that I have said a couple times on my videos, and I said in this video, that triggered a lot of people. And that sentence was, I am not a fan of Candace Owens. And so many people took offense on that, was offended and upset about that. And just for the sake of trolling, because I am like that, I am that kind of guy, I'm going to say that again. I am not a fan of Candace Owens, and that is perfectly fine. I mean, I don't even have to say that it's perfectly fine. It's something that is a personal opinion. And we can agree on that. That doesn't mean that I'm on the side of the TPUSA dudes or on the side of Erika Kirk. I've given Erika Kirk the benefit of the doubt about many things that people have said about her that I think that is abhorrent. I think I'm pretty sure that she has had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. That is something that I can say. But the TPUSA dudes, well, I think that I have made enough videos so you can see what is maybe not my opinion, because I don't really have an opinion about this. That's why my statement is like that. I don't support the TPUSA dudes. I could support Charlie Kirk's work. That is one thing. I could support what Charlie Kirk stood for, and, well, to the best of my knowledge, TPUSA is the closest thing that embodies what Charlie Kirk stood for, and Erika Kirk is the one at the helm right now. But the problem is, Charlie Kirk is dead. And if TPUSA cannot move forward with that reality, then it means that TPUSA was Charlie Kirk. And I speak in the past tense because regardless if you think, because I see so many people, Candace Owens is destroying Charlie Kirk's legacy. I have to say something about that. I think that is borderline insulting to if you have Charlie Kirk and his work in high esteem, saying that one podcaster, saying that Candace Owens is capable of destroying Charlie Kirk's entire life project, it meant one of the two things. The first one is that it was built on sand, so it was going to fall either way. The second one, maybe the best explanation, is that the actual fact is that Charlie Kirk is dead. And TPUSA was Charlie Kirk. So TPUSA was never going to be the same without Charlie Kirk. Had Candace Owens existed or not, it was going to slowly spiral downward. It was going to lose power. It was natural. It was natural when a company is built around a person. It has happened all the time. It's like Apple with Steve Jobs, something natural that happens. So I don't think that, Candace Owens is destroying Charlie Kirk's legacy. I think that is people doing that for clicks. I said that on my video yesterday. I disagree with Tim Pool. I disagree with Jeremy from the Quartering that Candace Owens is destroying the conservative movement. I mean, what kind of power is she? Is she? I don't know, Dr. Manhattan or something? Is she some kind of Lex Luthor that has this all power? His mind dedicated to, I don't know, this massive. I mean, I've been very clear about this. It's undeniable that Candace Owens is smart, and she knows how to play the mass communication game. That's all that I'm going to say. She is excellent, superb at that game, and that's how she has amassed such an audience. But at the same time, I sometimes question, why is there so much tribalism about this? Why is so many people hell-bent on either you have to love what Candace Owens does, or you have to support and bang your chest because of TPUSA's saving, I don't know, the universe. This is not the United States, it's the whole universe. I mean, we can take a step back and be a bit more chill about this. I can understand that if you are maybe more engaged with or directly related with how American politics can affect you, maybe you can be more upset about this. But I think that saying that Candace Owens can destroy the conservative movement or can derail the midterms. She said something about your silly midterms or something like that. Like she doesn't really care. I've said if all that she does is talk about TPUSA or Brigitte Macron, that's what she does. How can she destroy the conservative movement? I don't understand. What I do know, and I'm pretty sure so many of you are going to jump to the comments to call me a hypocrite because of this. You are completely welcome to do so. There are many people making content about Candace Owens. The Quartering is one of them. He's making more and more videos about Candace because she's like the hot topic. She became the hot topic now. And you might be asking, then why are you making the topic about this, about her? Well, the original topic, my original topic, was not really Candace Owens directly, but was the rift between TPUSA and Candace Owens, and that finally we get to see Erika Kirk involved in an indirect way. You know, she sent her minion Blake to talk in behalf of her, say that she was the one orchestrating this invitation, this challenge. So again, and there's another thing I have to mention because I want to make it very clear. I noticed so many of you also complaining, how can I make videos about Candace Owens without watching Candace Owens' show? And I think that you got something. I'm just going to clarify this. If I made a video, or if I analyze something that Candace Owens said, I 100% I'm going to put the clips in there. I'm gonna watch the clips, maybe watch her show, because I'm talking about what she is saying in her show. But I have not covered anything that she has said in her show. I am covering, for example, right now I'm covering the rift with TPUSA, and that rift is open. we know that she has said things. We know that TPUSA is going to respond to that. That is like an external issue outside Candace Owens' show. You can understand that this issue is separate from what Candace Owens, like Candace Owens' show is the internal thing, and this is like the battle between these two fronts. And now we have Erika Kirk, and acting from the shadows and the stuff. I'm putting it more dramatic, but no. If I'm going to talk about what Candace Owens says on her show, which I pretty much have not covered, I just mentioned some group chats that she revealed, and I said, okay, these group chats must be legit. I said that on one of my videos. That is one thing. But as long as I'm covering the outside issue, the YouTube creators, the YouTubers making videos about Candace, that is an issue separated from her show. Does that make sense? I just want to make sure that makes sense. And I want to make sure, for those of you who are upset with my stance on this, it's like when I say I am Venezuelan, so when I talk about Venezuela and the possibility of the United States invading or attacking Venezuela, I have to be clear about my biases. I have to be clear about what is at stake for me. What is my maybe any interest in this? Why am I engaging with the topic? And in this case, why am I engaging with this topic, even if I have no horses in this race again? I sincerely think it's interesting. It's interesting the way so many people are going insane about so many things. And yes, in all cases, I think that it's been lost the perspective of really important stuff that is happening outside this. Maybe it's not as flashy as this match. I was about to joke. We need celebrity death match. You remember celebrity death match? The MTV show was this clay animation figurines of celebrities fighting each other. We need a celebrity death match with Erika Kirk and Candace Owens. I would pay good money for that. But I'm like that. Remember, I have a healthy dose of satire in this in my shows. But let me know what you think about this in the comments. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.